Hey there, Carl Newman here for you at Sport Fishing Buddy. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to tie a loop knot for fishing. Now, loop knots are great because they allow you to tie your fishing line to your hook or your lure with a loop instead of a knot that cinches down all the way on top of the eye of the hook. And in this example here, which is a uni knot, that knot cinches down on top of the eye of the hook, and because it does that, it restricts the movement of the hook in the water. So the knot and the fishing line make the hook stiff in the water. And the same is true if you're using a uni knot or another knot that cinches down on the eye for your lure. So the lure is more stiff in the water with this kind of knot. A loop knot, on the other hand, gives your hook or your lure the maximum amount of freedom to move around in the water. So that's a great advantage if you're using lures that need to move in the water, such as crankbait or swimbait. And it's also great if you're using a hook together with live bait, because that live bait can move much more actively and attract fish to bite that way. So I'm going to show you how to tie a loop knot to your hook, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can use that for your fishing. Let's dive right into it. Okay, so we start this knot by tying a simple overhand knot in the line, but without cinching it down, like this. So here's the overhand knot that hasn't been cinched down. And now we're going to take the end of the line, we're going to pass it through the eye of the hook. And then we come back around, and we take the end of the line, we pass it through that loop that we created before. Bring it through there. And now we're going to tie another overhand knot with the tag end and the main line. So now you've got two overhand knots like this. We're going to cinch them down towards each other, and when they meet each other, they block each other from moving further. So now we've got this loop knot here, and it's attached to the hook with an open loop, which gives the hook a lot of freedom to move around. Let's say you're using a lure, that would give the lure a lot more freedom to move in the water. Okay, I'm going to tie off this tag end here to clean it up. That's the loop knot done, and I'm just going to show you how it compares to a Palomar knot, which I tied before. The Palomar knot cinches directly down on the hook. It's much harder to move, and the hook has less freedom to move, whereas with the loop, it has a lot of freedom, so it can really move a lot. So now that you know how to tie a loop knot to your hook, let's talk a little bit about how you can use it for your fishing. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning, the loop knot is great for any kind of lure that needs to move a lot in the water. And great examples are crankbait or swimbait or plugs that do these erratic turns, the sideways turns in the water. And with a loop knot, they have a lot more freedom. And you can check this. You can look at the movement under the water, and you'll see that they move much more actively. So that's great for attracting fish to bite. And the second application is when you're using live bait, because you want that live bait to be active in the water. And with a regular hook, with a regular knot that cinches down right on top of the hook, you're really restricting the movement of that live bait. So if you're using fish, for example, or shrimp, or live worms, you want them to have the maximum amount of freedom to move around, and loop knots are great for that. And then finally, the third reason for using a loop knot is if you're catching fish that like to jump a lot or that do these crazy turns while you're fighting them. And one example that comes to mind is mahi-mahi. They do these crazy turns, and the hook can come loose when they do that, especially if it's attached with a regular knot. But with a loop knot, the hook has a lot of freedom to move, and that way you avoid losing the fish when they do these crazy turns. And okay, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. If yes, then smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.